It happened in September 2022. Nigerian authorities just got wind of a criminal gang hiding within a residential estate somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria. The Nigerian authorities have been working alongside the US Drug Enforcement Administration since 2018, trying to track the activities of this particular group of criminals. So, when the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency got a hint on their whereabouts, the agency quickly deployed operatives into this residential estate to carry out a bust operation. This was a huge success as men of the NDLA took possession of a record 1.8 tons of cocaine from a warehouse. The drugs were said to be valued at around $278.5 million. The NDLA arrested 4 Nigerians and a Jamaican national in what the chairman of the agency, Brigadier General Marwa, termed a message to drug cartels operating in the country. While West Africa has been labeled a major transit hub for cocaine made in Latin America and sold in Europe, recent reports claim Nigeria is fast becoming a key player in the global cocaine trafficking. The question we have going into this one is, who are those behind this billion-dollar narco trade thriving in Nigeria? This is Obinugu, a small village in the southeastern state of Imo, Nigeria. The people here pride themselves in trade and agriculture. Well, while the good people of Obinugu would want to believe that only respectable trade happens here, the operation that took place here a few years ago will have some hiding their faces in shame. The year was 2018. After a year of surveillance, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, stormed this community in the early hours of the day with a 16-car convoy, stopping just outside the iron gates of a small house not so special from the others. To the thousands of people living in this community, there was nothing suspicious about this particular compound. However, in a matter of minutes, about 50 drug enforcement officials had surrounded the entire building, and when they made their way in, there was a meth lab, hidden from the eyes of the general public. Inside this lab was 78 kilograms, that is 171 pounds of meth, a highly addictive drug. These drugs produced in this local laboratory made their way to places like South Africa and Asia. Dozens were arrested, including the suspected kingpin at his mansion in the nearby city of Owerri. While authorities have struggled to release accurate and reliable data on meth production in Nigeria, investigators believe that there is a much larger industry hidden from plain sight. But what is responsible for this sudden transformation of Nigeria to some sort of a narco state? Has it always been like this? In an investigative documentary published by award-winning investigative journalist David Hunday, the US court documents revealed that a certain Bola Tinubu of Nigerian origin had forfeited up to $460,000 to American authorities in 1993 while being investigated for drug trafficking and money laundering activities. This investigation revealed details of Nigerians who were engaged in the trade of narcotics in the 90s and how they shipped loads of heroin into the United States. It turns out this trade didn't die with the military regimes. It seems to have grown even bigger since then. In 2017, there was huge controversy in the Nigerian National Assembly when reports emerged that the United States government wanted to extradite a 7th senator representing Ogun East Senatorial District to face charges for cocaine trafficking. This was a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The involvement of politicians in the drug trade reflects a culture of corruption that has plagued Nigeria for decades. With politicians being indicted and charged with drug-related offenses, Nigerians are left to face the biting consequences of bad leadership. Some young adults have taken to drug dealing as a viable means of income in a depressed economy. These dealers, mainly between the ages of 19 and 38, occupy low-level positions serving as mules and street-level retailers. These transactions sometimes take place in broad daylight, as corruption and bribery is common practice among law enforcement agents, who sometimes accept bribes in exchange for protection for buyers or dealers. And even when a transaction results in an arrest, the case often does not reach the courts. Instead, the suspects are released after paying some fines or coming up with bail money. But how did we get here? Who controls this billion-dollar industry? In September 2024, the Nigerian Drug Agency (NDLEA) announced it had arrested a certain Christian Ogbuji at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos as he attempted to smuggle drugs into the country. The 48-year-old was alleged to be trafficking drugs valued at over $2.8 million. But this was not his first arrest. Mr. Christian Ogbuji had been convicted for ingesting 93 cocaine pellets in 2023, a crime that got him a 2-year prison sentence. However, reports claim that he chose instead to pay a fine of $1,807, forfeiting the seized cocaine, his passport, and a small cash. This was enough for the authorities to release him back to the streets where he continued his drug smuggling activities. But this guy is not an outlier. In November 2023, a report in the Vanguard newspaper revealed that the NDLEA had busted a drug cartel in Lagos, seizing 14.4 million pills of opioids. These were valued at over $18 million at the time. 5 days before this operation, NDLEA agents were at a secret warehouse operated by a billionaire trader named Mwauha Anayo, where 12.7 million pills of tramadol were recovered. And about 2 days earlier, specifically on the 29th of October 2023, the National Drug Agency intercepted yet another businessman, this time a 50-year-old named Ifeanyi Anthony, who was caught with 86 pellets of heroin weighing 1.3 kilograms. He was on his way to board Air France flight AF878 to Amsterdam, Netherlands via Paris, France. There were similar drug busts like the one of October 30, 2023, where 22 parcels of cocaine concealed in the walls of a carton containing sewn fabric heading to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, was intercepted. Some blind men, 3 in number, said to be operating an illicit drug ring between Lagos and Kano, were also arrested after a fellow blind suspect named Adamu Hassan was arrested along Gwagwalada Expressway, Abuja, with 12 kilograms of illicit drugs on his way from Lagos to Kano. According to investigations, the blind Adamu Hassan knew nothing about the contents of his bag. But how about the other 2? The other 2 blind fellows were not so innocent. There have been reports of criminals using private jets for money laundering and drug trafficking. According to Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, the practice of illegal charter operations is a thriving business within the aviation industry in Nigeria, a practice that is undermining the efforts of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority and other regulatory bodies. The minister, who made this revelation sometime in June 2024, said the National Security Advisor alerted his office on the spike of money laundering and drug trafficking and other illegal activities through the use of private aircraft in the country. This is to say that the drug industry we see today is not controlled by some of the small peddlers being picked off the streets. No. There are bigger fishes that roam this dark ocean of illegal drug dealing. But who are they? In 2021, a major story made its way into Nigerian newspapers. A highly decorated police officer was being suspended from the force for his alleged involvement in money laundering operations linked to a convicted felon named Ray Hushpuppi. Mr. Carey was known to many in his profession as a super cop. He harbored no love for criminals and he did all that was necessary to put them away. However, Hushpuppi, whose real name is Raymond Abbas, says otherwise. You see, Hushpuppi had alleged in an affidavit that he got Mr. Carey to arrest a syndicate member with whom he had a falling out. Mr. Carey allegedly sent Hushpuppi details of a bank account in which he could deposit payment for the arrest. However, Mr. Carey described the allegations as, quote, false. And while the controversy continued to swell, another story, this time bigger than just bribery and money laundering, hit the news wave. In February 2022, months after the Hushpuppi story, it was reported that Mr. Carey had been arrested following accusations that he belongs to an international drug cartel. The allegations claim that Mr. Carey asked a colleague to help him siphon off part of a cocaine haul. He was allegedly caught on camera handing over $61,400 in cash. The Nigerian's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, declared him a wanted man, accusing him of being a member of a drug cartel that operates the Brazil-Ethiopia-Nigerian illicit drug pipeline. Other officers arrested with Mr. Carey include Sunday Ubua, Bawa James, Simon Agriba, and John Noho. But the big fish in this particular case was still to be arrested. That took a further 2 months. It was April 25, 2022, when this report appeared on the website of Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. It said, NDLEA arrest drug baron behind 3 billion naira tramadol linked to Abba Kyari's team. The alleged drug baron is said to be a billionaire named Chief Afam Malising Emmanuel Ukatu. Chief Afam, you see, is the chairman of Malising Group of Companies. According to investigations, the billionaire has been a major importer of large consignments of different brands and allegedly high dosages of tramadol hydrochloride, ranging from 120 mg, 200 mg, 225 mg, and 250 mg, all of which are illegal, by the way. Conveniently, this billionaire is said to own pharmaceutical and plastic manufacturing companies, which he used as a cover to import illicit drugs into Nigeria. This is in addition to operating 103 bank accounts, most of which are used to launder money. Other major players that have been arrested by authorities in recent years include Jimo Suleiman, also known as Temo, who was arrested on the 22nd of July 2024. Temo, who is reportedly known as Godfather or 001, is facing charges of conspiracy, trafficking 704 kilograms of cannabis sativa, popularly known as Ghana Loud. He was also accused of running a drug trafficking organization as well as money laundering. Another alleged drug baron called Suleiman Aremu, also known as Barry Shine, was arrested by the NDLEA sometime in 2024 and facing trial. Between February 2021 and June 2023, the NDLEA arrested over 48,000 people for drug-related offenses. Those arrests included 46 drug barons. This prompted the chairman of the agency to warn that Nigeria may be moving from a minor transit point in the international drugs trade to becoming a major hub. So what is the government doing to stop this transition? Because it is quite worrying. The Nigerian government has launched a war against illegal drug trafficking and abuse. The NDLEA has reportedly secured convictions of some high-profile cases, having arrested over 48,000 people for drug-related offenses in the past 2 to 3 years. But while we continue to see reports like this one, where a 25-year-old is being sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for possession of 700 grams of Indian hemp, or this other one, where the NDLEA is grilling 30 suspects over seizure of cocaine worth 4.4 billion naira at Lagos airports, questions remain. Will all this be enough to stop the real players responsible for the production and distribution of illicit drugs in Nigeria? Or are we just chasing the small peddlers while the barons fly over with their private jets and more? What do you think the government of Nigeria can do better in its fight against drugs? Let's have your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time,